A couple of days ago, whenever it wasn't so freaking cold, my fiance and I toured the Historic Menger Hotel in downtown San Antonio, Texas. It's literally steps away from the Alamo, like right next door to the Alamo. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Yeah.
You wanna go through that door?
Oh, so this is the other entrance. So
It is pretty.
wow.
I mean, you would open the door just so it'd be like one floor.
I've never been here. This is so neat. This is
very small.
oh, darling. There is a, what is this place?
From 1859. The second Texas brewery used to be located in the basement. This is an original painting from the movie.
Wow.
All these doors.
Same. Oh. What is this?
Here?
What?
How are they?
Theater style.
This is wow. Oh, this is like such a different vibe.
From one side.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of freaking amazing. First and foremost, I would love to thank Zerelda. She was our tour and the manager for catering and events, if I'm correct. I don't want to butcher her title, but she was the one that showed us around and helped us out and literally gave us all the details for the Menger Hotel. So I want to go through those with you guys and see about the numbers, what I liked, what I didn't like. Did we decide to go with it? Did we not? So let's dive in. This hotel is a landmark hotel. Like, it is super well known in Texas. It's a downtown in the middle of everything, pretty much Alamo Plaza, where the Ripley's Believe It or Not is. Whenever you think downtown San Antonio and you go to the Alamo, it's literally right next door to it. So the location I thought was super freaking fire, especially because we can literally have all of our family stay downtown and just have a whole experience downtown San Antonio. So the location was super cool in my head. The one thing I did note, of course, but that was just current day, was that there is some construction going on. Currently on the main road, it was pretty much closed. And construction was supposed to be over, I want to say in March. They had it specifically on the banner, but I honestly forgot. So I just know that by the time that we had our wedding, that it would be completely done. There would be no construction, and it would be just a perfect, beautiful site of the Menger Hotel. Overall, the hotel was just classy and elegant and just freaking gorgeous. So from the beginning, whenever you walk in, I was a huge fan of just the entrance. I love how there was a special entrance for the ballroom area. There was one on the main outside of it with a big old chandelier that you kind of walk into and you're like, oh hell yeah. And then there was one where whenever you're driving in, let's just say someone were to drop you off or you were to get an Uber, it's an easy entrance straight to the ballroom area instead of going through the full hotel area, which I really loved. I will say the ballroom, the main grand ballroom, was my favorite freaking part. The chandeliers were just wow. And there was an event going on at that time, so it really gave us a view of how the tables would look, where the dance floor would be. And then to add onto that, the little kind of area where all the food would be and all the bar would be. I really loved how it was in a different room but still connected. How Zerelda explained how the kind of night would go was that people would be kind of in the kind of food area at first, which was all shut off and closed with doors, and then whenever the reception would start, then it would just open up to the big ballroom, kind of like another grand entrance, which I really loved. I enjoyed how the food was separate and kind of tucked away in its own little place, but still kind of inclusive. But literally it would be like a whole other grand entrance, like reception time. And that was kind of like for me. I will be super honest though, I really just love the ballroom. Like, I really just love the ballroom feel reception area. We would love to have our ceremony and our reception all in one place, so that way we're not kind of moving from another place to this place and we're not having a church wedding either. So we would love to have them kind of combined to either save money and also just keep it kind of inclusive. I would love for everything to kind of flow smoothly. You go through the ceremony and then you have the reception in another area within the same location, if that makes sense. Another area that I really loved was kind of like the grand room, with kind of like the open two-story vibes. It was very Victorian, very beautiful. And she was saying that a lot of people really use that area for photos. It's not really like a ceremony area, nor is it big enough to hold a reception area either. It was just kind of one of those cool areas of the hotel that's not really a big part of the wedding. She was saying a lot of people kind of wait there for the wedding to begin and take photos there. And that was honestly my favorite room. You had the big grand ballroom and then you had the big grand room, which I freaking loved. But it was just unfortunate that we couldn't really use that and emphasize that for that specific kind of for a specific reason. And that was kind of the biggest, I will say, downside to the Menger Hotel was the ceremony area. As soon as you walked into the ceremony area, I just did not like the vibes. I did not like the lighting. I did not like the color of the walls. Like, I just was not a fan of just the whole setup. I even tried to take a selfie on my phone and just the lighting was terrible. Just not feeling the ceremony area at all. Just the thing that like broke the straw that broke the camel's back was the kind of rehearsal dinner area. Again, you know, I would love to have it all included in one. I would love to have the rehearsal dinner and just a convenient area, even though now I think, especially after seeing that, we might just have the rehearsal dinner somewhere completely separate. But at that moment in time, I really wanted to have it then and there and everywhere included. So to see the whole different vibe of the rehearsal dinner room was just kind of like weird. It was just a Spanish kind of vibe. It was just so dang different. Did not like the colors, did not like the feel for it. No. On the Menger's website, they have several different, I guess, wedding packages. We were ultimately looking at the platinum wedding package. That one included the grand ballroom, which had the chandeliers, and I was like head over heels in. But you could have also do the timeless romance package. They had a garden I-Do's package, and they also had a Victorian elegance package. So there are different rooms within different areas that you can kind of personalize for whatever rooms you want to use, whatever suits your needs as well, depending on how many people you'll have, yada yada yada. But we were really mainly emphasizing on the platinum wedding package. So with all those kind of details being said, let's jump into the numbers. So I will say it is pretty dang cool to be able to have the catering all in one. They do the catering for you. You'd have like a complimentary room stay. There was a lot of cool little perks that were added in to this pretty fucking hefty price tag. But let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it. So we have two kind of quotes here, mainly because Jerome and I always ask for a discount or a deal because it's always no until you ask. Literally, shout out to my dad. Whenever I was a kid, he told me that, and that's something that has always stuck with me my whole entire life. So whether it's been with weddings, life, jobs, anything, it's always no until you ask. So just fucking ask. Just ask. Let's go through the first quote first, and then we can kind of go into how amazing she was for the second quote. First, we're gonna talk a little bit about food, catering, all that jazz. So we're looking at about 200 people for our wedding. This was aiming for a dinner buffet. You have different options. You can do plated, you can do buffet, and ultimately we went with buffet because we feel plated is just too long. I just feel like whenever I'm at a wedding and I'm like freaking hungry, like I hate being like, here's your salad. 30 minutes later, here's your food. 30 minutes later, like if I want to go get some food, I can go get some food. And so that's why we kind of chose the buffet route. So she was saying dinner buffet is at about $50 per person. And this doesn't have any dessert included, and this all comes with bread, iced tea, water, and coffee. I really love the coffee because, I mean, I'm not a coffee fan, but my fiance and his family are a big coffee fan, and like any normal fucking person is a coffee fan but me. So I just thought it'd be kind of neat to have coffee at the wedding as an option. So I thought that was really dang cool. So for just the dinner buffet with the bread, iced tea, water, and coffee for 200 people at $50 a head, that right there is $10,000. Catering alone. Catering alone, $10,000 fucking dollars. Okay, and then we go into drinks. So we wanted to do an open bar, of course, and right here it starts us off with 25 bottles of house wine. And that's what you start off as, and it only does a charge on consumption, which I thought was pretty cool. So this is just kind of the basics, saying that we were to consume 25 bottles of wine. If we go under, if we go more, then they would just literally charge us for what we use. But based off of just 25 bottles, that's coming at about, this says here $34, but totaled out to $850. I suck at math, but that's what's written on here. I don't know. So let's just go forward. Then we have 400 signature drinks. Again, this is just combining all of the signature drinks, whether we go with 2 or 3. This is just saying 400 signature drinks. And those are at about $9. It's marked $9 here, which would total us to $3,600. Now we're into the beer. So there's 1 keg of beer. We could of course always add more, but for 1 keg of beer, that's $380, which flattens out to $380. And then we are looking at bartender's fee per hour. We're looking at about 3 bartenders. We honestly want to push 2, but this one we're feeling like kind of like, why not have 3? So we were looking at 3 bartenders, and the fee per hour is $41. So that would total us out to $123. They were gonna do a complimentary champagne toast, bless, bless, bless. And they were gonna do the cake cutting fee, which was waived. So bless, bless, bless again. So everything included the food, drinks. This is pretty much just food and drinks because it doesn't say anything here about the reception. I'm guessing because it's a hotel and it's kind of all included that you really are just truly paying for the catering. So just for the catering and the drinks alone, you're looking at $15,186. But wait, there's more. Fucking taxes. Fucking taxes. So first we have an 8.25% tax. That is $1,252.85. Then we have a 20% tax. Because, I mean, it doesn't even have a reason why. Can you give me a reason why? Like, just because, whatever. Which came out to $32.87. But again, wait, there is more. Because now we have another 6% tax. Where did that even fucking come from? That puts us at $1,272. So, if you were to take your subtotal of $15,186 plus $1,252 plus $32.87 plus $1,272, that gives us to the grand total of $20,998,000.61. Yeah, $20,000 for one night. I mean, for our wedding. It's just freaking crazy. So that's what I asked about, some discounts. So on to page 2. And the way I asked, I don't know, I don't think I'm a very good salesperson. I think that's like more of my fiance Jerome than I am. I hate fucking sales. But in general, I just asked. I was just like, you know, are there any sort of discounts you'll have going on? Are there any kind of specials that you might want to share with us? That's kind of how I worded it. And Zerelda was like the fucking nicest, most amazingest person ever. She literally gave us kind of like 2 fat discounts. She pretty much said that instead of the $50 a head, she was gonna knock it down to $43 a head. Bless, bless, bless. So instead of the $10,000 for the dinner buffet, of course, with the iced tea and the water and the coffee and the bread and all that jazz, was going to come out to $8,600 instead of $10,000, which automatically was just blessings, blessings, blessings. And then everything else pretty much stayed the same. The keg stayed the same. The bartender stayed the same. It all stayed the same except for the buffet. At the price per head is now $43 instead of $50. And then she gave us a nice little like $600 off of the 6% tax at the very, very bottom. So let's just kind of go backwards. So the subtotal with the $43 change, with the wine, the signature drinks, the keg, the bartenders, all that jazz, came out to $13,786, as opposed to the $15,000, okay? And of course we still have our 8.25% tax of $1137, which, yeah, so in general, because that was a smaller amount, it made all the other taxes smaller too. I fucking love math. Just kidding, I fucking hate math. I fucking hate math. So then the 8.25% then dropped to $1137. The 20% dropped to $29.84. And then the 6% from the original $12.72 was now $6.36, which was like not bad at all. So the grand total of our new discounted price was $18,544 with 1 cent, which is still high as fuck, but way fucking better than just the whopping 20 grand. But I will say we kind of shot high because out of all of our 200 people, not all of them are adults. We're going to have some children. And those children's plates were $16.95 as opposed to the $43 a head. And it was a pretty basic children's plate. It included the chicken tenders and just some french fries, which is literally Jerome's little brother Max, his favorite meal of all time. So that's kind of like who I'm basing the children's plate off of. Like if Max would eat it, we're good. So again, we kind of shot really high because we always like to do worst case scenarios, so that way we can fully go through our guest list and see who is an adult, how many kids do we have, how many of those are actually going to be drinking as well, because of course all the drinks included 200 people fully drinking. So again, 20,000 and 18,000 was super freaking high. But it would literally just go down from there because not all of these people would be $43 a head. Some of them would be $16.95 a head. Not all of these people would be drinking, so then we can kind of go from maybe 25 bottles of wine to maybe 20, or 400 signature drinks to maybe 300 signature drinks, and we could still keep the keg and the bartenders, but we'd be at least able to play with those two options. Still fucking expensive. No which way you put it. It's just expensive as ball sacks to get married at the Historic Menger Hotel. But I just wasn't in love with the Menger. And Jerome really did like the ballroom as well, but he again didn't like how we couldn't really have the ceremony there. I mean, we could, but I wouldn't want to have it there. What do y'all think? Have you all ever gotten married at the Menger? Would you get married at the Menger? Is $20,000 a little expensive? Is 18 expensive but better? What's your thoughts? I would love to know. It's been a lot of fun, just kind of this whole process of finding a venue, and I feel like we're very close to finding it.